Okay, so firstly, happy birthday to my amazing wife, Colleen. She's like a fine wine, gets better as the years go on. And I know she doesn't believe when I say things like that, but she really is way more awesome than the very first day I met her, and just gets better every day. So happy birthday to that good lady. And I am, as always, in my random field, surrounded by no one, just the way I like it. Not a soul. Look. No one. No one to annoy me. No one for me to get angry at and shout and scream at. Nobody. So, taking a wee break from work to take the wee man out for his daily constitutional. Last night, just after I popped my sleeping tablet, someone sent me a message, a very good old friend of mine from my serving days, to have a chat because he was struggling. So my first challenge was to try and stay awake, because the last thing I wanted to do was leave him high and dry when he wasn't feeling at his best. And he was struggling with sadness, and for him to say that to me was surprising, because I'd never known him to have any issues in that department. But it made me realise that, COVID, and the longer it goes on, the longer lockdown goes on, the more people are starting to, not even starting to, but are feeling the impact on their mental health. And it was almost like he felt sad, but people are feeling sad at the minute. People are feeling all sorts of emotions, but he's always been one to celebrate someone's life rather than be sad at their death. And it was almost like a new emotion for him to be dealing with. And I happily sit and chat to him and what have you, but my suppose advice was to speak to, because there's obviously more to it than just feeling sad. So I said, to speak to his GP and get that first step is to speak to them and get some sort of maybe counselling or therapy organised, because for me, therapy, I have my weekly sessions. I had one this morning. Although the therapy will never even touch the surface of the trauma, of the images that are floating around in my head, because I went for so long without any therapy and or assistance or any of that sort of duty of care that my previous employer should have had. It's difficult to try and deal with that with therapy when it's that far gone. But even though therapy won't help with that, it has helped with other smaller knock-on issues that have occurred. And just talking to someone who isn't connected to me and is actually trained in how to do therapy for a start has been a great benefit for those issues. Leffy, come on boy, let's go. So I said to him to definitely take that first step and speak to the GP, because they're the people who can help with putting you into the right treatment plans, and if required, get you onto medication that will help whilst they stabilise those issues. Leffy, come on boy, good boy. There he goes. But yeah, I think recognising the issue is obviously a big thing for a lot of people who aren't used to, feelings of mental issues and mental health issues. They haven't had to recognise them before. So to be in that position now is very alien for them. And I felt quite humbled by the fact that he reached out to me to have a chat. In his words, the that there was another weirdo out there that he knew he could come and talk to. So it's nice to be recognised as a weirdo, and a weirdo that can help from, unfortunately, having that sort of experience of when you don't go and get help. And that's what my message to anyone who has found it difficult lately, is to speak to someone. Anyone, doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be a doctor. If you have friends around you, friends that you know will understand, just talk to them, because talking helps. I mean, I can't talk about, even to my therapist, I can't talk about some of the imagery that's in my head, because as I think I mentioned before, I feel like it's almost like I'm committing the abuse again by talking about that stuff with someone and prolonging that abuse by keeping it alive. So I know that I probably should, but I don't. But I talk about other things, about my feelings, about my distrust of humans in general now, my inability to be among people and enjoy things. That's probably the hardest part of it all. Is I feeling happy and content is almost a negative feeling for me, which sounds weird. I can't even listen to kids having a good time and enjoying themselves, and because it triggers. And how weird is that kids enjoying themselves and the noises they make triggers me, and I can't listen to it. That's how flipped up in the head I am. But I talk to my therapist about that, and sometimes feel better afterwards, but it's not long until it all kicks in again and I'm back in my zone. But the talking helps. And Leffy, come on boy. Excuse me while I retrieve my dog who's trying to. Leffy, come here. Oi, Leffy. He decided he wanted to go in the river. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Where was I? It's the problem with rambling. You sometimes forget where you are. Talking. It's good to talk. There was an advert about that sometime in the past. Apparently it's good to talk. So yeah, if you can, just reach out, talk to people. Don't let it just sit in your own head and because the thing is, things that stay in your own head, you'll think the worst, and your brain will start to mess with you, because as I've said before, the brain can be a real tosser at times, and it'll warp things and make you think the worst of everything, especially at night. Lying in bed at night, that's the time when the world's at its worst. Everything's going to collapse, and the whole world against you, and it's just not the case. So it was nice that he reached out to me and we had a chat, and I managed to stay awake. That was the one thing. I fought the power of the pill and stayed awake for him, and in the end, I think it helped, and that's all you ever want to do, is help. And it's the only reason I do any of this stuff at the minute, is it helps me to be able to rant while I walk around a field. But if it helps one other person, or if it lets them know that they can reach out, and speak to people, or speak to me, or go and seek help, then it's a positive, right? And you've got to try and find the positives in the massive negative, as far as I'm concerned, in the massive negative of my PTSD and of all the really shitty, horrible things that I've seen. There's a positive to that, in that I've experienced it, so at least I can help others to recognise when it's time to get help, or just to be an ear to listen. And pass awesome dog Leffy, who cheers me up so often just by being there. Just the look sometimes will make me chuckle, and the fact that I've got to go and wash him now when I get back, because he is minging. Aren't you, boy? Huh? Are you minging? Hey, are you minging? You wee minger. Look at him. even though he was in the river, he's still minging. Yeah, come on in. So yeah, there's today's walk done. A little bit more ranting and raving done. Any questions, comments? Stick them in the comment section. Share, subscribe. Just be safe. Try and be happy. Know that, in Captain Tom's words, it'll get better. You know, we will get back to some sort of normality, whether it's the same normality as before. It's got to be better than what we're going through at the minute. So don't let in the words of someone I once met, don't let the bastards grind you down, and see you on the other side. Cheers all.